Hey, good morning, guys. This is Stephen Howard, my dog Yucca, and Rio behind me. Lori's in bed, and it's about 9:30 in the morning. We're just having our morning coffee and smoke, and waking up to a little bit of rain today. It's been a cooler than usual spring. We're coming towards the end, mid-April. End of April, and we're getting rainstorms intermittent and cooler weather. And uh, we had a sunny day the other day, and the high was in the 50s. So it's a little cold still. We're still having fires and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk about, you may already know that this big blessing is coming, the one that I've been talking about for a couple months now, maybe even longer. And it's finally here. Things are getting approved, or things are getting moving forward. And you're still in it. You're still in the struggle. The bills are still piling up or not being paid on time. You're still trying to figure out what to do with those big debts that you have, that someday could cause you a lot of heartache and problem. So I think keeping they kind of, the guides and universe put you through this so that when you get what you need, you start to look at it differently, and you remember the times when you were struggling, when you didn't have gas in the car and you didn't have enough of this or enough of that. So I think it's a good thing, and you need to be patient with yourself and others right now, because it's that time where you haven't gotten the huge blessing yet, but it's coming. And then you kind of make yourself nuts because you're trying to figure out, okay, what would I take care of, and what would I do, and what would the plan be. And then you want to really make sure that if you decide to do something like go on a vacation, that you're choosing correctly. I mean, you only have one time to go. You only have a certain amount of time that you can go. And what would you do with that time? Would you go all over and tour the places that you really wanted to see, even if they weren't the same place that you remember? If everything changed, and the place had been deteriorated and wasn't as awesome or as glorious, and the things that you remember about the place no longer exist, um, or it's changed societally. The city or the places that you went to as a child have changed dramatically over the course of your life and over the past 10, 15 years. So it's going to be an interesting endeavor. And then trying to plan something like this, and you don't want to be driving the whole time. You don't want to be, it's fun to drive. I love to drive. I could drive pretty much all day, every day if I had to, if my body allowed me to do that. But I think that taking some time and spending some time in places that are new to you would be a refreshing thing and a good idea. So that's really what I'm trying to manifest right now. The things that have been bugging me, I just kind of give them to God, and they somehow go away. Give them to the universe. Give them to the Almighty, and those problems will find solutions or figure it out. I mean, it's kind of like baby steps, or like Forrest Gump running. I just started running, and I made it to one coast, and I decided if I made it this far, I might as well turn around and go see the other coast. So, that's kind of how I'm looking at life right now. I've made it this far. And you have to give yourself some credit. I think we all are harder on ourselves than anyone else, and I think that we put pressure or um, it's almost like responsibility, but it's more pressure from yourself to do better. And then you look around and everything's better. You've done it. It looks good. It's livable. Everything works for the most part. And you even got a new vehicle. So take your time and give yourself credit. And then don't give yourself too much credit, and then overdo it and overdo everything and overspend and overgive and over. The idea here is to make things flow. And for me, flow is like, if you hold on to everything like it's your last popsicle and you don't want to share it with anybody because it's your last one. Well, try it this way. How about you bite off half of it and give the other half stuck on a stick to somebody that you love? And regardless of what's happened in the past, regardless of what's going on right now, if it's something you believe in doing to help, then do it. If it's something that you're like, hey, who's helping me? Who came to my rescue? Who helped me when I really needed it? And then trying to figure out that list versus all the things, debts, and other things you can take care of. And then how are you going to live? How are you going to live for the next 12 months? How are you going to live for the next 14 months? What kind of budget are you going to create for yourself in order to meet those expectations or those responsibilities or those pressures that you put on yourself? So what you end up with is a situation where, as a minimalist, you buy a car at a garage sale, and as a minimalist, you don't have very much as far as you have a couple winter sets of clothing, you have a couple summer sets of clothing, and a couple of ensembles. And that's pretty much it. You have your clothes, you have your vehicle, a couple dogs, and then your gear, gear to go camping or gear to go do this or do that. It gets ridiculous. You end up having all this gear that is laying around, and you've invested all of this money into the gear. And if you're not using it regularly, what is it doing? It's sitting up in the rafters because you can't ski anymore because your back's bad. So, you know, some of it you don't get rid of. I mean, the skis look good up there, and they didn't cost too much money. I got them at Goodwill for like $12.99 a pair, and some cool ski poles and a pair of boots up there hanging. And that's the cabin decoration. There's an old kayak out front, and I always wanted to like sell it or get rid of it or do something with it, and it's decoration out front. So you don't have to get rid of everything. You don't have to, if you truly love something, make yourself into a one sport or a two sport. So, if you really like motorcycles, get a motorcycle. If you really like kayaking, keep all your kayaks and keep all your gear, and try and control yourself as to what you're gonna do. And then if you're going to do that as a business, for instance, then you need to buy a certain amount of boats or a certain amount of gear, and get your licensing and your insurance and all the stuff. So you can see where the quandary is. You only have a certain amount of money, and you're going to have to figure out how you're going to live more than a year from now. And it's a great opportunity. There's lots of abundance, but you have to be really smart and figure out what you're going to do with it, who you're going to help, what you're going to do, and how you're going to execute this blessing. And I've been listening to a lot of readings. A lot of people are saying, you can be in the giving tree. There was a book when I was a kid, and it was called The Giving Tree. And the kid was a little boy, and he went up and he goes, "Oh, can I have a piece of fruit?" And the tree's like, "Sure, here's a piece of fruit." Kid eats a piece of fruit. He's like, "Awesome." Comes back as a teenager and he goes, "I want to start a fruit stand." And he takes all the fruit off of the entire tree, and there was nothing left for the birds or the animals. He even took the apples that were on the ground, and he started this fruit stand, and everybody was loving the fruit. And he came back to the tree and he's like, "Thank you so much. I need to build a boat." And the tree was like, "Sure, you could take a few of my limbs, And he took some limbs and he made a boat, and he was able to fish and feed his family. And he came back to the tree and he was trying to do the fruit stand, and there wasn't very much fruit. And he said, "Why?" And the tree was like, "Well, you took my limbs, so I can't produce the same amount of fruit as I could last time. And so you have to take what I have, there you go." And eventually he needed to build a house for his family. So he asked the tree if he could cut it down. The tree said yes. Eventually the man was sitting on the stump, and there was nothing more that the tree could do for the man. And it's a very sad story for children to read, but it's a good one because it shows that if you keep going down this certain path of consumption without producing anything, in other words, you don't have starts in your window, you're not growing tomatoes. There's certain things that you're doing that are not bearing fruit. There are things that you do in your life that are not bearing fruit. And so you have to change your whole mindset. And that is, I'm not taking anything from the tree except what I need right now, to eat or to whatever, but I'm not cutting any limbs. I'm not cutting the tree down. The tree actually should be fed and given nutrients, and you should love the tree in a way that it will grow and it will become big, and the seeds, the fruit will fall off onto the ground, and the seed will create another tree. And at that point, you can figure out what you want to do. So I hope you got the point of what I'm trying to say today, and hopefully you don't cut down your tree, and you will continue to watch it flourish and grow, create more trees. And, is your cup half empty or half full? And if it's half full, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to share of it? What are you going to enrich people's lives with it? What are you going to do for yourself to enrich your own life and make things better? And then how can you create another tree? And so that's where I'm at today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Realize you did a great job. The blessings are coming. You did follow through. You did all of the responsibility. You went through the pressure. Now it's just kind of a waiting game, and that's all you got to do is wait. So be patient with yourself and others, and have an awesome day. Enjoy going outside, even if it's raining. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.